So welcome back for the review of the homework. So in your textbook, you're going to be asked to do numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. So that's about 10 problems total. In addition to these last 3 checkpoint problems. So I'm going to walk you through on how to do these as a last example, and then I'm going to have you do a couple of the homework problems on your own. So this is solve the equation. So I'm going to draw a line right down the equal sign. We're going to square both sides to get rid of that radical, and that's going to get rid of our radical. So that's 15x plus 10 equals 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. So let's again practice foiling some stuff out. So that'd be 2x times 2x, which is 4x to the second power. Our outsides, which is 2 times 3, which would be 6x. Our inners, 3 times 2x, would be 6x, and 3 times 3, which is 9. So let's go ahead and simplify. That's as simplified as it gets on this side. For this side, we can add 6 plus 6, which is 12x plus 9. Let's move all of our terms over to the other side. What's the opposite of a positive 15x? Negative. Let's go ahead and write in what would 12 take away 15. Negative 3, right? Plus 9. What's the opposite of a positive 10? Negative 10. So that would be 0, finally. 4x squared minus 3x. And what would that be? Minus 1. Alright, let's go ahead and factor this out. So let's factor out 4x squared. What two numbers that you can think of multiply to get you 4? Try it out. So let's try 4 and 1. What two letters multiply? That would be x times x. And let's think of two numbers that multiply to get us negative 1. Well, that would be negative 1 times 1. Alright, so we want to make sure that the inners kind of add up to negative 3. So if we put a negative 1 here, positive 1 there, that would be negative 4x and 1x. Would that be equal to negative 3x? Yes. So this would be our correct factorization. We're going to go ahead and solve each one of these out. 4x plus 1 equals 0. Let's solve that out. And x minus 1 equals 0, and solve that one out. I'm going to let you do that on your own for number 4. Let's continue on to number 6. So here we're going to go ahead and we have a half power. We can write this as a radical. 45 minus 9x equals x minus 5, and we can square both sides. So that would be 45 minus 9x equals, again, let's go ahead and FOIL this out. So that would be x minus 5 times x minus 5, so that would be x squared negative 5x, negative 5x, and 5. Negative 5 times negative 5 would be positive 25. So let's go ahead and combine like terms. That would be negative 10x, x squared plus 25, 45 minus 9x. So let's go ahead and move all these terms over to one side. What's the opposite of a positive 45? Negative 45, right? And that would be negative 9x equals x to the second power minus 10x minus 20. What's the opposite of a negative 9? Positive 9. So that would be x to the second power minus 1x minus 20. And let's go ahead and factor this out. So think of two numbers that multiply to get you negative 20, but add to get you negative 1. And that would be what two numbers? I'll let you work that out. Once you do find what two numbers multiply to get you negative 20, but add to get you negative 1, you can then take both of those and solve for x. Alright, but I'll let you find those factors on your own. And the last one here, we're going to go ahead and cube root x plus 5 equals x minus 2. The way we're going to do that to get rid of that is raise both sides to the third power. Okay, and that would be x plus 5. Now we did something similar here in the last problem where we wrote x plus 1 to the third power, and we worked that out. Here we're going to write x minus 1 to the third power, which is essentially x minus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 1. So we're going to FOIL this out. That would be x to the second power, our outers, negative 1x, our inners, negative 1x, and our lasts, positive 1. Let's go ahead and combine like terms, and what would that be? Negative 2. We are then going to go ahead and multiply x minus 1 to what's in here. So I'm going to write this out. I know this was a while ago, but it's still a good review. X minus 1, x squared minus 2x plus 1. So that would be x to the third power, negative 2x squared, and 1x. Negative 1x squared plus 2x minus 1. So let's go ahead and combine like terms here. So that would be x to the third minus 3x squared plus 3x minus 1. So now let's move all of our terms over. What's the opposite of a positive x? Negative x. So that would be 5 equals x to the third power and positive 2x minus 1. What's the opposite of a positive 5? Negative 5. So that would be x to the third power minus 3x squared minus 2x minus 6. So I'll give you a hint to factor. It looks like both of these have an x squared in common. Go ahead and see what that factors out to be. And go ahead and factor out a positive 2. Go ahead and factor that out. You will have something that looks like this, x squared plus 2. And you'll probably see that these two, once you factor out that, you'll see that they are the same. And just make sure that you are setting each one of these factors, x squared plus 2 equals 0, solve that out, and then whatever your factor was that you got here equals 0 and solve that out. So I'm going to let you do that on your own. Let me know if you have any questions on either the checkpoints or the homework, and we will finish up the practice test on our next visit. All right, thank you so much.